this first. Nothing to see here, please.
It was loud, it was absurd, and it was hilarious. In 1988, The Naked Gun burst onto the screen like a slapstick tornado, armed with rubber chickens, exploding condoms, and more deadpan jokes than any human could possibly absorb. From the creators of Airplane, this comedy classic took aim at police procedurals and hit every target with ridiculous precision. It starred Leslie Nielsen as Lieutenant Frank Drebin, a clueless, accident-prone cop whose sincerity was only matched by his complete lack of awareness. The film was a surprise smash, grossing over $150 million worldwide, spawning sequels, and turning Nielsen into a comedy icon. But behind the gags and banana peels lies a wild production filled with strange cameos, legal threats, and jokes that nearly didn't make it. So buckle up and don't forget your inflatable pilot. Here are 15 weird facts about The Naked Gun, the film that made us laugh so hard we forgot there was a plot. Fact 1. It was based on a failed TV show. Before The Naked Gun hit theaters, there was Police Squad, a short-lived TV series created by Zucker, Abrahams, and Zucker. It aired in 1982 and starred Leslie Nielsen in the exact same role. The problem? It was too smart for television. Executives claimed viewers had to actually pay attention to get the jokes, which made it too dense. It was canceled after just 6 episodes, but fans never forgot it, including movie execs who realized the concept could work better on the big screen. So the creators recycled gags, retooled some jokes, and gave it a bigger budget. The result? Instant cult comedy. It's rare for a failed TV show to spawn a blockbuster movie, but then again, nothing about The Naked Gun is normal. Nielsen's deadpan delivery, perfected on Police Squad, became even sharper with a larger audience and louder laughs. Many of the show's sight gags and absurd one-liners were lifted directly into the movie, polished, but still hilariously absurd. In fact, fans of the original series were thrilled to see their favorite bits finally get the attention they deserved. Fact 2. Leslie Nielsen wasn't always funny. Today, it's hard to imagine Leslie Nielsen as anything but hilarious. But for most of his career, he was a serious dramatic actor, starring in films like Forbidden Planet and The Poseidon Adventure. That changed when he was cast in Airplane in 1980. His deadpan delivery of absurd lines was comedy gold. The Naked Gun directors knew they needed that same energy, so they wrote Drebin as a completely sincere idiot. Nielsen's background in drama made him perfect. He never winked at the camera. He believed every ridiculous thing he said. And that's what made it funny. Ironically, his serious past made him a comedy legend. Audiences were stunned to see a straight-faced actor commit so fully to nonsense. Critics quickly realized his stone-faced timing was unmatched in comedy. What started as an experiment turned Nielsen into one of the most unlikely and beloved comedians of the 20th century. Fact 3. Nice beaver, almost didn't make it. One of the film's most infamous lines, "Nice beaver,"
Nice beaver.
followed by Jane handing down a stuffed beaver, almost didn't make the final cut. Test audiences were stunned. Some laughed, others were horrified. The studio debated pulling it, but the filmmakers argued, it's a visual pun, not a crude joke. The scene stayed and became iconic. It's now one of the most quoted moments in the movie, proof that timing, tone, and total commitment can make even the most outrageous lines land perfectly. It's a masterclass in misdirection, building tension only to undercut it with a surreal reveal. That kind of fearless comedy defined The Naked Gun. And the fact that they almost lost this gag shows just how close brilliance can come to being censored. Fact 4. O.J. Simpson's role was almost cut. O.J. Simpson played Detective Nordberg, the unlucky cop who gets injured in nearly every scene. At the time, Simpson was still seen as a beloved athlete and celebrity, but his scenes were tough to shoot. Mostly physical comedy involving stunts, hospital gags, and chaos. Some producers thought his scenes slowed the plot. The directors disagreed. They doubled down. Simpson's bad luck became a running joke through all 3 films. In hindsight, the irony is surreal. a man known later for a real-life crime spree playing the victim of endless slapstick. His physical comedy added a layer of absurdity that balanced out Drebin's verbal gags. Every fall, crash, and electrocution was meticulously choreographed, and Simpson played it all with total commitment. The humor aged strangely, but it's a fascinating reminder of how public personas can shift over time. Fact 5. The car was a joke in itself. Drebin's police car, a massive 1970s Ford with a comically loud siren, became a character of its own. The exaggerated siren sound was custom-made in post-production. Every time it wailed, it seemed to last a little too long, on purpose. The opening credits, a wild POV car chase that crashes through everything from a women's locker room to a roller coaster, was filmed using a rigged-up camera on the hood. The idea, the audience becomes the car. It's pure absurdity, and it's brilliant. The car's ridiculous journey set the tone before a single line of dialogue was spoken. It told viewers, "Buckle up, logic doesn't live here." From the first scene, the film promised chaos, and the car delivered. Fact 6. The safe sex scene was studio approved. There's a moment where Drebin and Jane make love while fully encased in giant full-body condoms. The visual gag was so outrageous, the studio initially balked. But the directors argued it was the ultimate safe sex joke, timely and totally PG. Incredibly, the scene got the green light. It was shot using custom-made rubber suits that cost thousands of dollars and were nearly impossible to move in. Actors couldn't hear each other. Crew members had to use fans to keep them from overheating. All that for one perfect gag. The scene landed precisely because it was so visually absurd, yet oddly innocent. It turned a taboo topic into cartoon logic. That balance, edgy but silly, was the Naked Gun's secret weapon. Fact 7. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar almost returned. After his hilarious turn in Airplane, basketball legend Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was considered for a cameo in The Naked Gun. The directors had planned a scene where Drebin tries to interrogate Kareem during an NBA game but keeps fouling the players. Scheduling conflicts killed the idea. Instead, Reggie Jackson got a memorable role as a hypnotized assassin. He only had a few lines, but the moment he pulls out a gun at a baseball game, comedy gold. Using real athletes in absurd situations gave the film a strange realism. The more serious the face, the funnier the moment. Kareem missed out, but Reggie scored a comedy classic. Fact 8. I Must Kill the Queen almost got censored.
I must kill the Queen.
The film's climactic sequence involves a brainwashed Reggie Jackson attempting to assassinate Queen Elizabeth II. Even though the Queen is played by an actress, some British censors were not amused. They worried that it might be seen as offensive or disrespectful. The filmmakers argued it was clearly a parody, and they toned down some of the dialogue for UK audiences. Still, the line, "I must kill the Queen," remains shocking and hilarious. It perfectly captures the film's balance of chaos and cleverness. Behind the scenes, studio execs debated pulling the line altogether, fearing international backlash, but in the end, the absurdity won out, and audiences howled with laughter instead of outrage. Fact 9. Drebin's sunglasses were carefully chosen. Frank Drebin's signature look includes his oversized police badge, trench coat, and those jet black sunglasses. The shades weren't just for style, they were a practical choice. Leslie Nielsen often broke character during takes, and the glasses helped hide his eyes when he laughed. They also reinforced Drebin's overly serious persona. When paired with the absurd things coming out of his mouth, the contrast made everything funnier. The costume team tried dozens of styles before settling on the perfect pair. Not too flashy, but just ridiculous enough. Over time, those glasses became as iconic as Drebin's deadpan delivery. Fact 10. Some scenes were improvised. Despite the tightly written script, a few moments in The Naked Gun were pure improv. Leslie Nielsen would sometimes riff on lines or make small changes to his delivery. One scene where he pretends to talk into a pen, thinking it's a microphone, was extended because Nielsen kept ad-libbing nonsense. The directors let the camera roll. They knew that part of the magic came from letting their cast play. Sometimes, Nielsen's off-the-cuff jokes were funnier than what was written. His background in drama gave him the ability to commit fully, even when the dialogue got absurd. The spontaneity gave the film its loose, unpredictable charm. Fact 11. The mayor's office was reused from another film. Budget constraints meant the production had to get creative. The mayor's office seen in several scenes, it's a redressed set from another Paramount production. In fact, sharp-eyed viewers might notice it looks oddly familiar because it was also used in Star Trek IV. Set recycling is common in Hollywood, but in a film like The Naked Gun, it adds a weird layer of unintentional comedy. Imagine going from a Starfleet briefing to watching Frank Drebin knock over a fish tank. It's a reminder that even absurd comedy is built on clever resourcefulness. Fact 12. The baseball scene took days to film. The finale at the baseball stadium is one of the most elaborate sequences in the movie. It involved hundreds of extras, dozens of stunts, and tightly choreographed chaos. Shooting took over a week. The bloopers from this scene are legendary. Balls hitting lights, props breaking, actors missing their cues. One day, an actual foul ball hit a camera and cracked the lens. The crew treated it like a badge of honor. Despite the chaos, every second was crafted with precision. The final result? A slapstick masterpiece that feels like a Looney Tunes cartoon come to life. Fact 13. The national anthem scene was a gamble. When Drebin steps in to sing the national anthem, horribly, it was a moment the studio wasn't sure about. Would audiences be offended? Would it seem unpatriotic? Instead, it became a fan favorite. Nielsen belted out the wrong words off-key in a pitch-perfect parody of clueless confidence. It's hard to top a scene where your lead forgets the lyrics and makes them up as he goes. The brilliance lies in the commitment. Nielsen performed it with total sincerity, as if Drebin truly believed he was nailing it. That earnest absurdity is what made it not just funny, but unforgettable. Fact 14. Priscilla Presley shocked the directors. When casting Jane, the filmmakers weren't sure Priscilla Presley could pull off comedy. She was known mostly as Elvis Presley's ex-wife and a soap opera actress. But she surprised everyone. Her chemistry with Nielsen was undeniable, and her delivery, deadpan and elegant, made her a perfect foil. She would return for all 3 films in the series. What caught the directors off guard was how naturally she fit into the absurd world of The Naked Gun. Her commitment to playing it straight only made the chaos around her funnier. Presley didn't just hold her own, she became a key part of what made the films work. Fact 15. Frank Drebin almost got his own TV spin-off again. After the success of The Naked Gun, the studio considered bringing Drebin back to television. But the creators refused. They felt Drebin worked best in short, punchy formats, not episodic stories. Ironically, decades later, reboots were discussed, including one starring Ed Helms, but nothing stuck. Drebin remains frozen in time, a glorious, idiotic force of nature, and honestly, we wouldn't have it any other way. The magic of Drebin lies in his unpredictability. Something that's hard to sustain week after week. Turning him into a weekly character risked overexposure and ruining the comedic impact. Sometimes, the best characters are the ones we only visit in bursts of chaos. The Naked Gun didn't just spoof cop movies, it rewrote the comedy rulebook. It proved that rapid-fire gags, straight-faced delivery, and fearless absurdity could make audiences laugh decades later. So if you're ever feeling down, just remember, somewhere out there, Lieutenant Frank Drebin is crashing a press conference or knocking over priceless art. If you enjoyed this breakdown, like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments. What's your favorite moment from The Naked Gun? And should Drebin ever return? Or should we leave comedy perfection untouched? Thanks for watching. And remember, keep your badge shiny and your jokes dead serious.